So here we are. Mr. Gamble presents. We're still here.
Yep. And I'm Rich, Mr. Gamble.
I call Rich the cat.
The cat.
Called him the cat.
Since I've known you, probably age 13.
Catso at least all the time, I say.
Mm-hmm.
But we've known each other. I mean, I can't really figure out a time. I'm going to guess. I'm going to say 11 or 12 years old.
Yeah. And I can remember that, you know, what's so funny, because tonight is the night after Halloween. Today is November 1st.
November 1st.
Today's November 1st. Oh, my God. And Tim, we met on Cabbage Night, the night before Halloween is when we met.
That makes sense.
Because you came from Jersey City. It was you, Brucey, your brother. Who else was there?
Probably Dunn. Brian Dunn.
Probably Dunn. There was a whole group of guys. And we were hanging out in the cul-de-sac by my house. The Morans had a house over, and they were another friend and family. They're actually Tim's cousins. And they lived in a dead-end cul-de-sac. So Halloween night, all the kids in the neighborhood, that's where we'd all congregate. It would be chaos. Everybody had their stuff. And I'll never forget John coming over, who was my good friend, John. We went to school together. And he's like, come here, I want you to meet my cousin Timmy. And he's like, Tim, this is Rich Tim. I'm like, hey, what's up? And he's like, he's from Jersey City. We met. And then it was just like chaos that whole night. But that's the first night I met you. And I broke my leg that night.
My God.
I broke my leg. I'll never forget that. Running. It was dark out, obviously. Frankie was being himself, crazy. So everybody was running from him. And I remember stepping off a curb and my ankle actually broke and I busted it. And, but we were having so much fun that night. I said, screw it. And I just stayed running all night. And then I went home and I remember and I said, Mom, I think I broke my leg. And she's like, what? And brought me to the hospital. And yeah, they had to cast me up and everything.
God.
But I was having so much fun. I was like, fuck it. I'll put up with the pain for now. We'll worry about that tomorrow.
My first impression of you is just like another planet. Coming from Jersey City, Paramus already seemed weird to me. You know, like the country is like, I was like.
Meanwhile, it's what, 30, not even 30 minutes away.
30 minutes. Now it's like, I can't even believe it. But it used to seem like, going for a trip out in the country.
That's great.
You know, but.
And that was like every week. After that weekend, it turned into like, it was like an every. That's how I guess we became such good friends. It literally, that weekend happened. And it was probably at the time where, like, your brother, people were getting their driver's license. So there was always a ride. Somebody was always going back to Paramus because you guys
You know how we used to do it? None of us could drive at that point. But my uncle owned a TV repair shop in Jersey City.
Yes.
And on a Friday, we would say, could you come and pick us up? And we'll go back with you.
Yeah.
And then on Saturday morning, he would drive us back.
Yeah.
After like the sixth time of doing that, we would bitch and moan until it would be my dad or my mother picking us up on Sunday.
Yep.
Because we wanted the extra day. But that's how it kicked it off. And also around that time, which made, you know, like we're always close with my cousins and stuff. So we were always very close. But like we said, Paramus might as well been in fucking Georgia. It was a different place. And the one thing that brought us together and started us hanging out as kids or young kids or whatever was Ozzy.
The music.
On MTV.
Yeah.
Jersey City didn't have MTV.
In Paramus, we didn't.
It might not have MTV ever.
In Paramus, we didn't have MTV because your uncle worked at the or owned the repair shop, so he had all the best technology. Like when the video games were coming out, they had Odyssey 2.
Oh yeah.
So what was that called? UA Columbia? Their cable. They didn't have cable vision.
It was a weird cable box.
And it slid.
The sliding
thing.
And attached to a wire.
Right.
Like,
and we didn't even have cable yet. So even though Paramus, they were in Paramus, he had different technology.
Yeah.
So you had MTV, and I'll never forget, we were hanging out in Tommy's bedroom, and he's playing the guitar, and I was watching Van Halen on the TV, and I called my brother. I said, Todd, you won't believe this. I'm watching Van Halen live on the TV right now.
Yeah.
And he's like, yeah, because they have UA Columbia. We don't have that stuff.
Oh my God.
And literally, I lived right down the street from them. But yet we didn't have cable yet in the neighborhoods.
So picture in Jersey City, I mean, of course, I'm sure we could figure out what year this actually is. I'm going to say
I'm going to say
82?
1982, maybe going into 1983, but it was definitely 82 to 83,
Right.
somewhere in there.
So at that point, you know, Jersey City is Jersey City. Paramus is, everything's growing the same way it is nowadays. But MTV was brand new and Jersey City didn't have it. They had like a knockoff. I think it was U68 was the MTV knockoff in Jersey City.
68.
But we saw or got word, and I don't even know how we probably Hit Parade or I don't even know how
Yeah,
the fuck
that's how we got all our information.
Maybe they
Cream
knew,
Magazine,
yeah.
Hit Parade, those magazines would tell us who was going on tour. This guy left the
Yeah.
band. You know, that's how we learned
And we
everything
get-
in
you know.
magazines.
But we realize, you know, so it's 1982, I suppose. Randy Rhoads has died,
Yep.
which was like, to all of us, was like, oh my God, how could that be? You know, it was our favorite. And then there was an announcement, there's going to be a live concert, Speak of the Devil, of Ozzy.
On HBO.
It was on
HBO.
MTV.
Was it MTV?
It was MTV. I can find it. I've watched it on YouTube
right.
by now.
Was it HBO too that did them? Remember, because they did Speak of the Devil, Adam Ant. They did like a few of those concerts. It was the Prince Charming Adam Ant tour. They showed that. It was either HBO or it was MTV. It was like a special.
It was definitely MTV
It was?
because we watched the Adam Ant special because Frankie was fucking insane Adam Ant fan. But the Sammy Hagar concert,
Yep.
3 Lock Box, was also fucking really huge.
I remember.
I remember at the time. And to think about that, Ozzy and Sammy Hagar seemed old at that point.
I know.
Right? Like in 1982, they looked like grown men, like real men.
It's so funny.
But that Speak of the Devil concert,
what a great, great show.
we were able to convince our parents, including Dunn, who was a phenomenal fucking guitarist at the time, to go and watch the concert. And lo and behold, I feel like it was magic to all of us. It changed all of us watching that concert. We were fucking blown away. I think my cousin bought a guitar probably the next fucking day.
It influenced everybody.
Everybody.
It influenced everybody.
I mean, Dunn was already able to play that, but everybody else wanted to. And it switched on the lights to like, we got to make a band. I remember right around that time, we actually booked a show at the roller rink. We had no band.
The Paramus
We
roller
didn't even
rink.
have a fucking band, nothing.
The Paramus roller rink was the place to go on the weekends in Paramus in the early 80s. They had video games, they had food, and that's where everybody would hang out. And then it would sometimes get crazy at night, but it was overall, it was such a great place. Paramus had everything. It was a great bowling alley.
That's how it was
we
for
had
me.
the arcade in the bowling alley.
Yeah, the arcade.
Yeah.
The arcade and bowling alley so close.
To that
Like we would
cul-de-sac.
hop a fence.
Right.
And we'd walk right there.
So that cul-de-sac that we were talking about, that Tim and I met at, there was a park in that cul-de-sac, and it butted up against a major highway, Route 17. And when you jump over that fence, you'd walk through a couple of parking lots, and there was a cement factory.
Yes.
All right. There was a cement factory. Then there was Ramsey Outdoor Store, and then you get to the bowling alley. And there was a pizzeria in the bowling alley, an awesome arcade in the bowling alley, and the bowling alley itself. And
that
like
was
everything was right there. Walking.
And then another mile or so.
Not even the suburban diner.
South,
that we'd go to.
Suburban diner, and then the rolling rink.
Yeah.
The roller rink.
Yeah. Everything was right there. We had access. As kids, now mind you, we're talking about this in 82. We're like 13, 14 years old tops. This is after like a while too. And look at what we're doing. We're hopping fences, walking along highways, and going to bowling alleys, roller rinks to meet girls. We walk endless. Why do the kids today not do this? Why is it the world changed that? It's.
I guess I don't know. I mean,
why is there no influence? Like we had the music. Like you were talking about how Ozzy influenced everything we did.
I mean, I imagine they do. It's just today's kids. K-pop demon hunters are that bind. I only know about 9-year-olds.
Right. I don't even know what K-pop
I don't know what
demon
fucking
hunters
teenagers are doing. But like it's an animation, Korean animation, with the most catchy pop songs ever constructed, put against the backdrop of a vampire hunter band. And it's
so strange.
It gives you almost everything. If we were fucking 9 and 10,
we'd love it.
We would fucking love it. And that's the thing. Boys, girls, they all love it.
But is it good? Is it bad? from what from
think
our
it's pretty good. I
generation,
don't know.
we were influenced by things that were not done before, that was somebody just creating something and it just caught on and changed the world. This stuff almost sounds like the way you're describing it. What was it? K-pop, Korean music with vampires? Sounds like it's like a corporation sat around the board table, created this, and said the kids will make $1 million with this. This is what the kids want. Make it short so they can't think, and make it flashy, bloody, loud, and catchy. And we got a hit.
I think there's a handful of that goes into anything that you end up seeing. If you see a movie on Netflix, that conversation deeply happened with a lot of people. To get to that commercially successful and that viable, there's a formula. There's no fucking question.
But the opposite side is a Tobe Hooper that was influenced by the Vietnam War of what was going on and said, I'm going to just make a movie. And he gets together with some friends, gets a few dollars in his pockets, finds some animal parts, and makes a crazy movie.
Tobe Hooper came up with that idea, is the first to do it, or perfect it. He did it. Yeah. He saw horror movies.
Right.
He decided to write a story that touched on two things.
Right.
And went for it. It's great. I'm not taking anything away from it.
But a one-man show is what I'm saying. It wasn't thought out of for a profitable thing. He was trying to make a statement and wanted to make a movie.
And there you go. At some point,
and it took on, changed.
This idea of, I'm going to make an animation, and it's a Korean girl pop group that is fighting against demons and vampires.
Sounds great.
And they're going to use the songs to battle them. If their songs are better and bigger, they drown them out and they beat the vampires. And this is going to be huge. And I'm sure somebody was like, are you out of your fucking mind, dude?
Mm-hmm.
And then at some point, they're like, well, let me show you some of the songs. They showed the songs. Mm-hmm. And, odds that the songs were perfect and where they needed to be, probably not. But that idea was probably sold.
So what's selling the show?
And then somebody gets that idea and is like, we bought this idea. It's a fucking vampire girl group.
And it just took.
And somebody was like, ooh, what if we do this? What if we get these songwriters, and we make it this? And maybe kids would sing along with it. And then fucking before you know it,
now it's
somebody's like, yeah, let's
It's still different than the 80s, the 80s machine. It's so different. So answer me this question. This almost sounds like what you're describing, and I don't want to talk about this too much, but it almost sounds like you described it because it was past my stage. I didn't get it. It sounds like this is like a remake of the Power Rangers almost. The action with music or,
Yeah, but done so much better, like or legit.
Well, it should be,
and a little bit edgier.
Yeah.
Like it's right on the edge where, kids could feel like I'm watching a grown-up thing. But
is it also so now you have another country infiltrating our country, just like the Power Rangers? That wasn't an American show.
Yeah, but
they go about it differently. They have a different perspective
No,
on
there's
how they
definitely,
do stuff.
If you watched, did you watch any of the zombie movies in the Korean genre?
I saw The Last Train to, what is it? Busan, something like that.
But
gory as hell.
What about All of Us Are Dead?
All of Us Are Dead. Remind me what? Because that sounds familiar. I probably
this is also Korean made. It's set in a school in Korea, and the characters are like high school, right? And out of nowhere, a fucking lab dude invents basically like a zombie type thing because his kids died. His one kid died.
Okay.
And he didn't want him to die, so he came up with a thing that brought the kid back, but it brought the kid back as a fucking kid was a monster.
Pet Cemetery. That's a story. That's Stephen King.
So now the kid is there, and now the kid kills the other kid in the guy's life. And now this guy is scrambling, trying to keep them locked inside. This is all happening. They don't show any of this.
Right. Sounds.
So then now this gets out.
Way to make it terrifying. Yeah.
And is quickly taking over this small town in Korea, which the immediately response is the military
destroy
locks down the town, tries to get some survivors out, but at some point is like, we just got to fucking destroy this place because it ain't going to fucking happen. But the couple twists that they throw in there. So it's high school age. It's a high school.
Right.
So the hierarchy of all the kids are well established.
Yep.
There's douchebags.
Right.
In Korea, how your family is matters completely. How you're treated in school.
Of course.
If you don't have money or don't play a sport, you already suck a little bit. So those dynamics are really heavy within it, which is really interesting. But so the thing is, they also had people who got bit. They wouldn't completely turn into zombies. They'd retain some of their human emotions and still be human and be scared, like, what's happening to me? But if they were put in fear, they basically became like a fucking zombie. So eventually...
That's kind of original.
They're trying to get out of this fucking school. They realize after a couple days, nobody's coming for us.
Right.
So they got to try and fucking get out of there. There's 1,000 zombies outside. They're super fucking fast. And they could hear. The hearing is what really makes them fucking nuts. So now here, that's the scenario. They're stuck. A couple of things, right? And again, I know we're on a rant about this thing.
Yeah,
but we're talking.
I'm gonna watch the movie. I got something to change it up a little bit.
All right.
I'm sorry, Tim. Change it up because
good movie.
Good movie.
It has nothing to do with Koreans taking over America, as Rich
that's
talked about. But fair enough.
You made such a valued point as you were saying it that you didn't realize. I didn't want to just interrupt. Because we were talking about the 80s and growing up and like our lives. That's really where we are because we're two old and weird men now that we still don't have anything figured out. We're still trying to go day to day.
Understand these new things, and I try and put it in perspective of like, well, to my dad, Ozzy must have been like, what the fuck, my son.
Even off of that, you just said something when you were describing that movie with the Koreans. It's about status.
Oh yeah.
Status. If you had money and you played sports, you were popular. If you didn't, you weren't. And it's so interesting because I just had this conversation with somebody about, again, growing up. We're going to talk about us a lot, guys, on this podcast because that's what it's about. It's us. We grew up, and status. It's so funny because the one thing how it was different growing up when we were kids, all right, in the 80s, whether we were in high school, whether we were in middle school or elementary school, to now, the status. There were no name brands. First of all, everybody who drove a car, Tim, we all had them. It was like a giant Oldsmobile with steel bumpers. That was a hand-me-down from your dad's, or, somebody's selling it and you get it for a few $1,000s, giant bench seats. But now you go, and it's like status. So we had the little Porsche Boxster that we just sold. My wife was like, I'm done with this. I don't want the car anymore. I said, all right, I'll sell it. Guy bought it. His daughter's getting her first car, and he's looking at it, and it's a cute little convertible Porsche yellow Boxster. And he bought it, and he's like, this is what they want. He's like, my other daughter, I bought her a brand new Honda that's cost like $35,000. And this was like an older Porsche. It wasn't anything special. And he's like, and she didn't want it. She's like, this is what they want. Like her boyfriend, they love his old BMW that he drives because it says BMW. So now when you go, again, I'll get to the point. It's all like status. Kids have a Louis Vuitton bag at a young age. When we were kids growing up, and I never forget this, we're not mentioning names, but I had a friend that I was talking to. And he's like, my father, when we were kids, he had like a pretty four kids, a bigger family, lived in Paramus, went to school with us. We all hung out together. When you hang out with people and everybody's just wearing jeans and a t-shirt, there's no status. Like, ooh, that's you're not wearing a $500 blazer jacket, everybody's the same. And he was telling me, he's a good friend of mine, and he's like, yeah, but when I was young, my father never was able to keep a job. My mother never worked. We didn't have money. We didn't have anything. Now, he lived in Paramus by me. He was a popular kid, awesome at sports, all this stuff. You would never have known that in that neighborhood, as a kid, you think everybody were all at the same playing field.
Yeah, you never even thought about it.
Never even thought about it.
Like it never
even thought about it as a kid growing up in the 80s.
Think, I wonder what his dad makes.
No,
money.
And it didn't matter because
it didn't matter
whether you made $1 million a year, whether you made $20,000 a year. Everybody had the same. They were wearing like Converse sneakers or high top sneakers, a pair of jeans. We'd shop at freaking what was it called, Two Guys or some shit. Remember that?
Yeah, definitely.
And it's like it feels so weird. And being I'm 55. What are you, 56, 57 now, Tim?
57.
57-year-old zombie. He's a 57-year-old zombie. But the bottom
Kate
line...
had to remind me of my age the other day because I said I was 58 to somebody. She's like, "You're not 58."
Yeah.
She's like, "You're going to be 58." I was like, "Oh, okay."
You know, and it's just...
If God is willing to let me make 58.
Well, the problem is you're now going to live for the rest of your life forever. You're going to live forever. You're a zombie.
He says, he's like, "I think you're going to be 110 years old one day."
I think so.
I was like, I hope you're right. But
why not? Why not?
I agree. At this point, I say to myself sometimes, I have no idea. There's a chance someday I'm going to be sitting on TV saying I am the oldest living heart transplant recipient.
Somebody's got to do it, Tim. Somebody's got to do it.
And they'll be like, "This fucking guy's 137 years old."
Well,
I'm going to be like, "Oh, I'm so tired."
I said to you before, I don't even know if we recorded it before when I got here, and you said that, and I said, you just don't know.
You just don't know.
You just don't know. And out of all these years, again, you're a zombie. You died. I don't know if I said it on camera, so I'm going to say it again. He actually went into cardiac arrest. He died. They brought him back. Since then, he's gotten a new heart. And as crazy as that sounds, this is the healthiest he's ever been. And like growing up, as far as intake from when we used to drink, or if drugs were involved, or if the food, just the diet alone was insane.
The combination
the diet,
of my lifestyle.
It was just so insane. And you always saw it with the weight fluctuating. You'd be heavy, then you wouldn't be heavy, then you'd be heavy. And it was just such a crazy time. So after all that crazy shit that you've been through, this is the healthiest I think you've ever been. This is the best you've taken care of yourself. No, hands down.
Without question.
As all of us, Yeah. And it's like, it's such a fucking weird ride. Life is the weirdest fucking ride if you think about it. As young, you don't think about it. Looking back now, the shit that we've been through, the shit we've seen, the shit we've done, the shit we've survived. We'll tell the stories as this podcast goes on.